Welcome back to What She Said Sports. All right. Yes, it is my birthday. Today, A2, my birthday. But I'm so excited about why I'm live. I forgot to put on my birthday crown, but I want to give a thank you. I want to give a lot of thank yous to everybody who supported, sent birthday blessings, because I told y'all what I was going to do with it. And I did. From Well Off Media, I ordered the 144 hoodie. On the back, it says, "The rejected will be respected." I got the orange color, not because of the Browns, because I'm not sure Shedeur going to even be there. So I didn't align it with anything that the Browns had going on. There was black, there was white, and there was orange. No, there was red, black, and orange. So I decided to get the orange. Again, one of my favorite colors, orange and teal, my favorite colors. So I went with that one. I want to forever memorialize this young man's NFL rookie journey. Why? Because he's rising, and it's going to prove that the people who thought they could hold back this young man, they failed. Now they should stop, but they're not. But we have talked about that. So today I'm celebrating everybody who sent me a cash app, a super chat, or membership. It didn't matter. But the cash appers, the super chats, they all helped to purchase the Well Off Media jersey. So I mean the Well Off Media hoodie. So for those who don't want to get the 12 jersey, and you might be right. You might be right. Because timing, for those of you that don't want it, support Bucky. Bucky is that brother. He's the glue to that family. Y'all know he got his own shoe at Nike, the Well Off shoe. He was in the KFC video, which I shared on IG and Facebook. And he made the 144 hoodie. Something I would have done as a creator. Showing up for his brother with "The rejected will be respected." Throughout the comments on various days, on various topics, people use Bucky's slogan, "The rejected will be respected." And we're actually seeing that happen now. We talk about "You Are Here." We talk about where we are in the process with Shedeur, following his NFL rookie journey through the abhorrent treatment he received in the draft to Cleveland. Now, we know Cleveland don't want Shedeur. He wasn't the owner's pick. He clearly wasn't Andrew Berry's pick, because Andrew Berry does not have superpowers to override 32 billionaires and tell them what to do after they took Shedeur off the board. So he was nobody's pick. It appears Shedeur was forced there, and every day the Cleveland Browns have made it clear, we don't want you. We don't value you. So here's the $1 million question. Then why don't you trade him? If you don't value him and you don't want him, then trade him, because you're not going to convince us that he's not a good quarterback like they tried to do. Oh, he's a 5th round pick. When you say that out loud after this young man's performance just through rookie training camp yesterday, it shows you that they're willing to tell you that what you're seeing is not true. They're not willing to talk about the reality of Shedeur Sanders. They want to talk about the reality that they created, that they crafted, that they were forced to manufacture. And when you look at Cleveland's track record of quarterbacks, because I began doing research yesterday, even though I was celebrating my birthday, we were having a good time. I was like, wait, I need to look up something right quick. So I said, how many black quarterbacks have Cleveland had? And then I was like, how many black starting quarterbacks have Cleveland had? And I said, how long has current ownership been in place? 2012. And I'm like, how many black starting quarterbacks have they had since 2012? One. And it's a toss-up on whether he was the starter or he just started a few games. Deshaun Watson. And it actually went on to say, in 2016, 4 years after the current owners took over the team, that the Cleveland Browns are not a black quarterback friendly team. I'm like, well, you don't say. It's actually in print. It's actually documented. They've never had a black quarterback to lead their team, their franchise for a long-term period, like the Pat Mahomes, the Baker Mayfields in Tampa, Jared Goff, Joe Burrow. No, they keep moving them around. So it's becoming crystal clear with the owner's admission. He wasn't my pick. Thank you, because that's what people thought, because they knew he wasn't Andrew Berry's pick. Because why? 32 owners, or the owners, got together and took him off the board. And you're not going to convince us or a jury that Andrew Berry, a black GM, when they don't have any black offensive head coordinators, was the one that told 32 billionaire owners, I'm drafting Shedeur. No, he looked disgusted after the draft because Shedeur was forced there. So tell the owner of the Cleveland Browns, thank you for the clarity. He was nobody's pick. He was forced there. Now, we could go on in several other videos on how he got forced there, but it's simple. It's simple. Just think about it. So we're here today to talk about what I talked about last week. Remember this? Remember this? I said last week, I said, I feel like there's a behind the scenes trade happening. And I think, when people say trade Shedeur, you have to realize nobody else could draft him because he wasn't on the board. He magically ended up in Cleveland. No other teams are calling for him like they called for Bryce Young when he was benched. Meaning, had his job taken away from him, even though, he was their number one pick overall, Heisman winner. Teams were calling up trying to execute a hostile takeover of Bryce Young out of Carolina. Now, y'all know he's still there, and they seem to have turned things around. But not until after that fiasco happened. And I said, that's funny. I don't hear nobody talking about Shedeur. And I said, oh, that's right. The same collusion that was happening in the draft, a moratorium, locking Shedeur out the first round, taking him off the board so nobody else could get him, still exists. Nobody else could just call up and say, let me get Shedeur, just like no other team could say, hey, let me get Shedeur. Nobody wants him. We do. Some people speculated Philadelphia was about to, at 145, make a play for Shedeur. I find that hard to believe because he wasn't on the board. So you can't make a play for somebody that's not on the board, right? We talked about that. But what you can do, if you are one of the most powerful owners with the highest valuation of $10 billion or more, even though your team hasn't won anything since the late 90s and you still have the second most primetime games, you can break the circle of collusion. You can say, hey, guys, because the owners are incestuously close. Since y'all going to trade Shedeur anyway, because he was going to be draft capital, they was going to sit there and let him sit for a year, maybe throw him out there every now and then, but they weren't planning to do that to his fan base and other NFL fans. And external pressure from the media and non-NFL fans started talking about this. They were planning to let him sit and use him as draft capital. So I told y'all, I said, chances are a team is going to pop up and force a trade. I said, somebody going to shake some shit up. Who remembers me saying that? I said, the only person that can shake some shit up is who? The most powerful owner in the NFL, Jerry Jones. I told y'all he can do what he want to do. I've asked y'all multiple times, has Michael Parsons signed his contract? And I'll ask you again, has he signed his contract? The answer is no. Yesterday, I learned that Michael Parsons was negotiating apparently with Jerry Jones. And then when Michael Parsons' lawyer got into the conversation, because, this is a business transaction. It really should be the Cowboys talking to his lawyer, right? They said Shedeur should have had an agent. So why would Michael Parsons have an agent representing him? They said Jerry Jones got really silent. One can conclude that he didn't want to negotiate with Michael Parsons, or maybe he already knew, I'm going to make a trade. Maybe. So Michael Parsons has requested a trade. This is him right here in the center with this hoodie on. for the first time at practice without his number 11 on. Also, for the first time since he's been in Cleveland, Shedeur Sanders on the same day is not practicing. He's out. He started practice. Shoulder soreness emerged. He's out. People are speculating, does that mean he lost the competition? I'm like, well, if Michael Parsons not wearing his number 11 jersey and Shedeur Sanders out for shoulder soreness, which is rare. It's rare for Shedeur to be out on the same day. And let's see, last week, Cleveland was basically making it known that they were open to trading. I even read an article about it. They were open to trading at all times. They said Andrew Berry is flexible during the season and during the draft. And we already know that Andrew Berry opened the door to trade the number 2 away before CU's pro day. So why they went down there pretending to want Shedeur and Travis when at the owners meeting well before CU's pro day? I don't know, because they already had talked to Jacksonville and indicated, yeah, we're open to trading the number 2 pick. But then they still went down to CU's pro day and pretended to be interested in Shedeur and or Travis. Actually, they wanted to spin we're going to get both of them. When in fact, it was a slap in the face because they had already pretty much dealt Travis away. The deal wasn't finalized till 2 weeks later. So what that should show you is that Cleveland, Berry, Haslam, been playing this whole Shedeur thing the whole time. What you see from the organization, we don't want you, we don't value, is a reality because he was forced there after likely 2 events occurred in the draft. You know what both of them are. 2 unexpected events exposed that Shedeur was being humiliated. Boomer Esiason exposed that he was being colluded against because the owners took him off the board. And Haslam exposed and confirmed that he didn't choose him like people thought. So that meant nobody took him. That meant those 2 events, the prank caller, who is supposedly the boyfriend of the daughter of the GM, calling Shedeur with inside information while the Saints are on the clock, in a post from the leader of the free world, calling them stupid. Both happening on day 2 of the draft is how Shedeur got drafted on day 3. Argue with somebody else, but prove me wrong. So nobody wanted him, right, in Cleveland. It became very, very clear. They're open to trading him. Rumors, somebody will be traded a week before week 1, after the preseason. People speculated it was Kenny Pickett because they held him out. I said, no, they want him to heal, and they don't need him looking worse than Shedeur, because then people are going to be like, why did you keep Kenny Pickett? So now Shedeur's out. So that means Dylan and Flacco get the run of the house. Because now Shedeur and Pickett are out. But you don't hear people saying what team Shedeur could go to because can't nobody else get him. There's only one team that can get Shedeur. And today, that team's player who was in negotiations that have asked for a trade that is not wearing his Dallas Cowboys jersey is connected to in print a trade rumor. The Browns, Michael Parsons to the Browns. They ain't say who was going to Dallas. But I don't think it's a coincidence that the one day after this young man has balled out and proven he's exactly who they said he was. The number 1 pick overall, most accurate QB in college, most NFL-ready QB in the draft. Mr. number 1 overall pick. Until Cleveland decided we're interested in him. Then he was pigeonholed to number 2. He had no choice in the matter. And Cleveland not going to have a choice in this trade. Jerry Jones have witnessed he can count $250 million in jersey sales. Yes, that's divided against all teams. I own Dallas Cowboys merch. Nobody gets a cut of that other than the Dallas Cowboys because they create their own merch. So while They're going to run it back one more time with this jersey. And if I'm not mistaken, y'all got 90 days to trade in your jersey and get a new one for the new team after he's traded. Go read the return policy or the trade-in policy that they have. So if he's traded, you supposedly have 90 days based on where you bought it from to get a new jersey at no cost because you already bought a jersey. They know that too, right? So the stage has already been set. They want to trade somebody. Kenny Pickett is injured. Is it really good to trade an injured player? No, it's not. If he's not on injured reserve, no. So when Shedeur has shoulder soreness, he should definitely sit. He should come out. Because if somebody's going to get traded, they need to get better before they get traded. Now, what's appealing to Dallas for Shedeur's contract? Other than the fact that, yeah, they're going to make some more money for the NFL with a new jersey, hopefully with the 2 on it, because I don't know if anybody wears the 2 for Dallas. But all of that merch that Dallas sells going to have Shedeur's jersey number on it, his last name on it, and they're going to run back his Pop's jersey too. They're going to run back Coach Prime jersey too. So in addition to making the money from ticket sales, because fans are going to show up, from merch that the Cowboys going to create for their own organization, in addition to a share of the $250 million with a Cowboys Sanders, the number 2, and Coach Prime Sanders for Dallas. Shedeur's contract is only $4 million. The phone should have been blowing up for him. You only owe him $1 million this year, $1 million next year, $1 million a year after that. His contract is locked. Any team that gets him in a trade absorbs that contract. It's $4 million. So if I trade Michael Parsons, who wants 40, and I'm like, nah, I'm not paying you that, but I can get Shedeur for 4. I mean, who's winning here? The Dallas Cowboys. The fact that no other team is blowing up the GM's phone, I'm sorry, the owner's phone. Hey, let me talk to you. No other team's owner, Colin Haslam. Hey, let me get Shedeur. Y'all, I know you don't want to, have him be your starting quarterback because, you're not quarterback friendly when it comes to black quarterbacks. We don't have a problem with it over here. That's not happening because nobody else can just get him. He's going to magically appear wherever he goes. He's going to be a handoff from one team to the other one. And the only team connected in a trade right now is Dallas. And on the same day, Shedeur is out due to soreness. Micah on the field with no jersey that says Cowboys. He just wearing a blue hoodie. Something going on, ladies and gentlemen. And they said a week before, before week 1, the first preseason game is what? Next Thursday, next Friday? He might not even play. If he have soreness and I can get him for $4 million and he can make me $250 million with my own merch, I don't want you to play him. I need him to sit out. And I'm going to send you Micah because he wants $40 million. And it don't matter whether you want to give it to him or not. That's what you got to do because I'm more powerful than you. And that's how it goes. I can collude with you or I can collude against you. No teams are calling for Shedeur, who is a franchise QB. Damn good, can take you just as far as Jaden Daniels or hell further. Everybody sees it, but nobody's trying to get him, just like nobody tried to get him in the draft. Ladies and gentlemen, this is called collusion. Again, I told y'all there's only one owner that can make this happen. The rest of them don't have that kind of power. Sometimes you forced to collude whether you want to or not. And the big dogs gonna get their way. Y'all saw Shedeur talking to Jerry Jones in New Orleans. They passed by each other and Jerry said, yeah, I'm gonna have to do a lot of trading. I have asked umpteen times, has Michael Parsons signed his contract? Now, none of this could happen, but it damn sure should. It definitely should. It definitely should. We know the Browns like to give out lucrative contracts. We know they don't know what they're doing. They just got a player off of waivers to replace an injured left tackle. They got somebody off of waivers. They don't have a priority for the O-line at all. Cleveland is not a good fit for Shedeur. Cleveland did not draft Shedeur. Shedeur was forced to Cleveland. Anybody want to argue about it? We can argue about it in court. Going viral on day 2. The president's post a tweet and that prank going viral. And people realizing Shedeur was intentionally being humiliated and held back, and the NFL was not making business decisions in the draft. Even Stephen A. said, well, the NFL draft is not about talent because they weren't making business decisions. And if nobody else can get him from Cleveland because they don't want him, they don't value him, they show you that every day. We have no intentions to use him. He's throwing to the equipment managers. Well, you know what? I tell you what, he can come to Dallas. His contract's only $4 million. That means Jerry Jones didn't have to pay him $40. Nobody could pay him $40 because they locked him out of the first round. That's colluding to harm someone. You're colluding to devalue this young man when you locked him out of the first round, and we found out y'all took him off the board so nobody could get him. He likely was going to be Mr. Irrelevant or an undrafted free agent. But the president of the United States, the leader of the free world, regardless of what the hell you think, along with that prank, exposing he was being publicly humiliated with inside information. The first question people ask is, how did the caller know who the hell that Shedeur was going to have to wait? He had inside information because he's connected to the GM of the New York Giants, the only organization to defame Shedeur. So the Dallas trade makes a whole lot of sense. Even more so with the owner coming out and confirming, I didn't want him. People calling him out. He should have never said that. Why they being so disrespectful? They got to get him out of there. I mean, if they had an HR, he would have been gone. HR is where the rules and regulations of workplace misconduct lie. But I'm sure HR got the phone number with his email with a waiver wire attached. They're all in on it. So if you wasn't directly in on it, you knew about it, because if you work for the NFL at these higher levels, you got the email. So you knew what was happening in the draft. Dallas trades makes a lot of sense when you think of the timing of the owner sticking his foot in his mouth and doing like Boomer Esiason and clearing up some things for us, providing clarity. They don't want him. The culture starts at the top. Kevin Stefanski is holding him back because the owner didn't pick him. Andrew Berry's devaluing Shedeur unjustly, saying that, well, he got a retro skill of pocket passing. In other words, his skill set as a QB is outdated. We want a dual threat. Is Deshaun Watson a dual threat? They don't want him. They don't want a black quarterback seemingly to be the face of their franchise. So they'll go with Myles Garrett. I think they scared of him. Somebody asked me if I thought they was going to trade Myles Garrett with Shedeur to Dallas. I'm like, no. Cleveland is not parting ways with Myles Garrett. That is the face of their franchise. They don't want it to be a black quarterback, which is why they have 2 white quarterbacks and 2 non-black quarterbacks sitting at 3 and 4 competing against each other. Because they know while the other 2 publicly fight it out, 3 and 4 fight it out, these 2 white quarterbacks going to emerge as the face of my franchise, because that's what they want. When it's documented that the current ownership, Cleveland Browns are not black quarterback friendly. Not just quarterback, black quarterback. Do your research. I did. When you look at the quarterbacks they have had, they all have come off of some type of mistreatment, abuse, or scandal. RG3. If you know how RG3 got to Cleveland from Washington, they did him dirty. RG3's beef is with the NFL, not Angel Reese. Deshaun Watson. Do I need to say anymore? All of their quarterbacks, if you look at it, are like that. They've never drafted a black quarterback in the first round, ever. They're not black quarterback friendly, period. They maybe have only had 1 black starting quarterback against all of eternity. Maybe Deshaun Watson since 2012. Maybe. See, back in the day, in the late 60s, they drafted him, but they didn't always let him play. So it was just draft and sit like they trying to do with Shedeur, which is so easy for them because that's what they do. So seemingly, what the mistreatment Shedeur is getting, because Shedeur is in an abusive relationship with the Cleveland Browns. So a trade is definitely imminent. The external pressure is unrelenting. It's not a good look. The owner going up there and saying, I didn't want him, while all the while they've been treating him like they don't want him. They wanted to start off saying it was his skill set was subpar. Well, that's obviously a lie. In any real corporate world, Andrew Berry would be fired. The only reason he has a job is because he never had the authority to give Deshaun Watson $230 million fully guaranteed against 32 billionaire owners' wishes. These same owners worked to make sure Russell Wilson didn't get his guaranteed contract in Denver. So why would they trust Andrew Berry to give Deshaun Watson $230 million? They did not. Deshaun Watson got that contract for the same reason RG3 got a 1-year deal in Cleveland, to move him out of Washington after they cheated him. Cleveland is what I told y'all, an experimental franchise. This is where people go when things happen, especially quarterbacks, when things happen and they just got to go somewhere because we owe them money. Send them Cleveland. Why? They've never drafted a first round black QB. They're not black quarterback friendly. So I'm going to hold you over here for a year and I'm going to pass you off to somebody else. That's what they were going to do with Shedeur. But they were going to try to publicly humiliate him and trade him for little or nothing to make it seem like he's not valuable. The media already was talking about trading him for a backup QB in in Detroit that has only had 68 yards under his belt because he's a 5th round pick. So they were going to try to trade him to cement in people's minds that he's a 5th round pick. But unfortunately, he's so damn good, nobody believes it. And instead of talking about Shedeur being a 5th round pick, we standing up here talking about they probably going to have to trade Shedeur because the owner stuck his foot in his mouth and confirmed for everybody that Shedeur wasn't his pick, and everybody already knew Shedeur was not Andrew Berry's pick. So he was forced there, and nobody wants to talk about why. External pressure. Again, in the draft, it was 47 and the prank going viral. Back to back. That was the external pressure that got him drafted. And now external pressure, people talking about the draft again, talking in the media, a lawsuit. 9 NFL fans calling it out. Everybody's talking about it. How he's being mistreated. Why don't you trade him? Can they? I told you he was going to be, the trade was going to look like this. We finna get Shedeur. You going to take this person and we going to get Shedeur. That's how they got Deshaun, and that's how they got RG3. And that's how Shedeur going to get the hell out of there. So Shedeur is out due to soreness. We don't know how long it's going to last. To be honest with you, he's already auditioned. There's nothing else he needs to do. It's not a real competition. It never was. Just like they say a 5th round pick can't choose his own jersey number. How the hell can a 5th round pick compete to be QB1? So these people out here saying things and not thinking critically about what they're saying. If he not even good enough to pick his jersey, how the hell is he good enough to compete for the starting job? Because there is no competition. There is no competition. Today, for the first time ever, I watched Canadian football. It could still happen. It could still happen, but I don't think they're going to let it happen. I think the only reason they invited him to the draft was so he didn't go to Canada or go somewhere and start his own league. Because why? On or before 220. The NFL don't want quarterbacks, plural, like Shedeur Sanders now. So I didn't want Shedeur before the combine. They defamed Shedeur in the combine. Cleveland, publicly, everybody knew Shedeur was going to be the number 2 pick in Cleveland. And then comes the owners meeting. The GM of the Jaguars introduces himself to Andrew Berry and tell him they interested in getting the number 2 pick. And Berry said, okay, I like it. He was willing to deal Shedeur away. And it makes sense, right? Because the Browns have never drafted a black QB in the first round. So is it really realistic to believe if you're not black QB friendly, you've only had one black starting QB since 2012, and he's been injured more than not. And when he was healthy, you rotated him with the other black QBs. And when they came to a 7-4 winning record, instead of one of them closing out the season for the victory, you handed their winning record over to practice squad Joe Flacco. Jerry Jeudy is currently sharing a locker, or at some point was sharing a locker with Flacco. What kind of competition is that? That means Flacco going to start the season. Analysts said Shedeur should close it. It's proven. Dylan getting all of the reps. I say let him go. Let him go with it. They make these kind of boneheaded decisions all of the time because they're not making business decisions. They didn't make a business decision when they got RG3. They likely had no choice. Just like they had no choice to get Shedeur out the draft. Just like they had no choice in Deshaun Watson. When you look at the deals that they have made, Andrew Berry didn't have that kind of power. Not in the draft and not with Deshaun Watson. Andrew Berry does not have the kind of power to override 32 billionaires and tell them, look here, this is what we going to do. We going to get Shedeur. Bullshit. Where was Andrew Berry during Russell Wilson's deal? Because he was needed. Russell Wilson lost $81 million in guarantees. The new owner of the Denver Broncos was going to give Russell Wilson a guaranteed contract worth about $300 or $400 million 2 years before the other one expired. Kind of like the guy down in Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence, getting an early extension. They basically told him, you can't do that. Because if you give him that, all the other players gonna want it too. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's called collusion. So Russell let go of his no trade clause for that deal. Then when he got there to sign it, switcheroo happened. See, a new owner came in thinking he could run his own business. But then he learned, you can't give Russell that contract because the rest of the quarterbacks gonna want that too. Just like they wanted Deshaun Watson's contract. And he couldn't get it. But Andrew Berry could give it to him, but can't nobody else get it. Hell no. Hell to the no. Even two-time MVP Lamar Jackson couldn't get Deshaun Watson's contract. And I would say he deserved it. And as of late, the last couple of days, they singing his praises. You better wonder what that's about, because they was going to trade him. Because when Lamar Jackson came up for free agency, none of them teams wanted the two-time MVP. In fact, Baltimore asked him, where you want us to trade you to? And today, they singing his praises. You can probably figure out why. Because people are talking. People are talking. They trashing Jalen Hurts. The man just won the Super Bowl. He been there twice. They afraid he gonna go back there, so they split up his team. Just like Steve McNair, when they almost, with Tennessee, got to the Super Bowl and damn near almost won. What did they do next? They split up the team and sent McNair to where? Baltimore. The same Baltimore, it was reported that Flacco was holding them back. So that same Flacco that was holding back Baltimore is expected to play a full season in Cleveland and win and be better than Shedeur Sanders for a full season. And he has not played a full season, a full NFL season since 2017. Look it up. I did. They would rather have Flacco, who's part-time, and they know it, and string along Kenny Pickett, who's not good, and Band-Aid on Dylan Gabriel. They'd rather all of them instead of Shedeur, because why? They've never drafted a first-round quarterback that's black. And they don't want him to be the face of their franchise. That's why they're holding him back. So why don't you trade him? That's where the Dallas Cowboys come in at. So while I said it seems we're getting closer and closer, not to the preseason game, but to the time period that the Browns are going to cut ways with one of their quarterbacks because it's already documented. It's unusual, the situation they put themselves in. You have 5 quarterbacks. You need to get rid of somebody. You technically can get rid of Deshaun, but you really can't because that contract is huge. And his injury could be, but then it don't have to be long term. I mean, honestly, if he had a contract that wasn't so heavy, they could trade him on injury reserve because it's supposed to be an Achilles, which is already healing. They don't want to trade him. They don't want him to have nothing. We had to pay you $230 million and we kick you every day and we use you to block Shedeur and we threw you under the bus when really and truly the owner said that on March 31st because at the owners meeting on March 30th, Haslam, Barry, and likely Stefanski, but Barry for sure opened the door to trade the number 2 pick. So the very next day after Barry says to the GM in Jacksonville, we opened them. We opened the trade that pick because they weren't going to trade. They weren't going to get him no way. They weren't going to get Shedeur no way. They never have, and this wasn't going to be the year. When he got locked out of the first round, it would be interesting to find out how long that decision was in play. How long did they know they were going to lock Shedeur out of the first round? If you can answer that question, then it tells you that the Cleveland Browns were playing all along. They've never had a black starting quarterback drafted in the first round, and they're not about to. Just like the Giants never had a black starting quarterback, and they're not about to either. They say it's going to be Russ. We going to see. That's the same Russ that was in the collusion case that they sent to Denver to be QB2 and emerged to QB1, took Pittsburgh to the playoffs, and they booted him out of there, sent him to Cleveland to interview, then made him go to New York and waited for Aaron Rodgers to make a decision. And when they got tired of waiting on him, they signed Russ. Then they got Winston, thought both of them was going to be backups, decided to get Jackson Dart. He's not good. So guess what? We backed into a corner. If we don't start with Russ and let him be QB1, which plays the majority of the games, people going to say we are what? Fill in the blanks. What is it they don't want to appear? What is it they trying not to appear? And what is it that they're starting to appear? And then make the connection from the Giants over here to Cleveland. I said last week, I think a trade is taking place behind the scenes. Cleveland Browns not going to have a choice in the matter. That was before Haslam stuck his foot in his mouth. Now, in his Boomer Esiason era of being arrogant and telling us the truth and clearing up some things, they can't keep him. The world is now watching again. So you want me to make the connection that you colluded against him in the draft and you over here colluded against him in Cleveland and you didn't draft him. He wasn't on the board. So how did he get there? Who came up with that idea? They don't want people asking these questions. They scared to death to talk about the prank. They were supposed to investigate it. Really? They're going to investigate themselves? So the FBI is supposed to be investigating the NFL Players Association. That's a good starting place. Do y'all know who runs the FBI? All right. So stay tuned. Stay tuned because they can't keep him. They cannot keep him. External pressure is too high right now. ESPN stood on their heads. ESPN stood on Dallas's head. Micah said, I want to trade. He not in his jersey. The same day Shedeur is out with shoulder soreness. Only one owner can make this happen. Nobody's calling for Shedeur. Not because he's not good, because they can't. Continued collusion. They're going to have to make a move where Shedeur is concerned. They're not putting him on waivers. Because if you put on waivers and he just sit there, he going to go to Canada and somebody going to sue. So the Dallas trade makes a lot of sense for a lot of reasons. To keep the NFL out of trouble. From appearing what? To temper down. Oh, they colluding over there in Cleveland too. So they colluding at the draft too to temper down the talks of collusion, to keep the truth about Shedeur being forced to Cleveland. Whose idea was that? They don't want to talk about that. That's why they lied and said is Barry's pick. I don't know why Barry keeps going out on a lamb thinking he protecting these people, but that's why he still have a job. That's why there are 9 black GMs and 0 offensive coordinators that are black. If everybody operates like Barry, if I can get you to cheat the players, if I can get you to do the impossible deals that are ugly, won't nobody say it's me. Because if I do it and I'm white, I'm going to appear what? But you're black. If you do it, they're not going to say anything because black people don't stick together. False. I wonder where they think the pressure coming from. They're going to have to move Shedeur. Their own fan base, they're not worried about because the Cleveland fans are just, they busy. They busy and they siloed. They don't look at other teams. They don't know what's going on. That what's happening to Shedeur is happening to other black quarterbacks. They should know. They should know the history of the black quarterbacks in Cleveland. It's ugly. It's ugly. And there's a pattern of behavior when you look at all the black quarterbacks they've had, how long they had them, how they acquired them, and what happens to the players before they got to Cleveland. Just Deshaun Watson and RG3 alone. The teams that they left, and Cleveland was their next stop. And look at how Deshaun is being treated. This ain't on Deshaun. And RG3 beef is with the NFL. So let me see what y'all are saying about this trade, because it makes too much sense. And I think at this point, it has to happen. Like Asante Samuel said, if you hold back the cream of the crop, something else is going to happen so that the cream rises. The last thing that happened was Pickett got hurt. They didn't give Shedeur only maybe one more rep than usual. And he still looked better than Dylan. Dylan got worse. The more reps, Dylan got worse. 3 or 14. So they thought giving Dylan reps would help. But it did. It exposed. He not good. He not consistently good. People want to say with Shedeur with shoulder soreness that he's not durable. Again, Cleveland fans don't know much outside of Cleveland. Only a few of them have bothered to watch the highlights from Shedeur Sanders' career. They just believe in what the talking heads in Cleveland are saying, which is why they keep repeating it over and over and over, because it works on their audience. It doesn't work on us because we research for ourselves. And I mean no disrespect to anybody. I have said that the Cleveland fans are busy. That must be what it is. It makes too much sense. Michael Parsons has asked for a trade. I think maybe it's possible that the negotiations broke down, not because his lawyer wanted to get involved, but because Shedeur Sanders in the conversation. What did I say about 2-3 weeks ago? Coach Prime posted something. We talked about it on here. It said something about, remember what you said and keeping your word. Who remembers that? That was the beginning of it. Not that you want to be on the right side of the history, but something about keeping your word. That was the beginning of it. I've been asking, has Michael Parsons signed his contract? The answer is still no. Now Shedeur is out. Micah's not wearing his jersey. You tell me what you see. It might not happen. It might not happen at all, but it's definitely the solution. It's definitely looking like it. They said they were thinking of making the trade before week 1. Shedeur is out before the first preseason game. Let's see. He might be back tomorrow. So we go into the comments to see what y'all are saying. And I didn't say if Shedeur go to Dallas, he going to start. I say he going to Dallas. That's a whole nother conversation. But I forgot to tell y'all, he might. He could eventually, because in New Orleans, they decided to get Tyler Shaw. Well, he's not working out. So guess what? Spencer Rattler, who's black, he's mixed, but he's black, has emerged as the guy in New Orleans. There's your 17 to 32. Shedeur will be 18. So it said the man above. Salute. How you doing? Latrice, welcome. Shalom. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome or welcome back, everybody. Good evening. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes. And thank you to everybody who supported me getting the 144 jersey. It has been ordered. Juanita, how you doing? Thank you. Thank you. Good food. Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for the birthday wishes. Oh, Money Man and I got the same birthday. Oh, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. I have to stop by there and say happy birthday. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Yes, there are over 200 people in here. Hit the like button for me. 267. It's my birthday. Can I get 267 likes? And if you're new, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to bless me, my Cash App is getting ready to float across the bottom of the screen. I think the book is supposedly coming out, Turf Wars, on the 5th. So if you bless me with birthday money, that's what I'm buying. I purchased the jersey, the hoodie, and next I'm getting Turf Wars. Shout out to Salafi who sent me the link to it, and Jerry and all the other people who've been sending me media over the last couple of days. I finally got through it. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So yes, today is the day. All right. So I asked y'all, where was Shedeur Sanders' next stop? Dallas is it's in print. Connected to a trade. The Browns for Michael Parsons. They didn't say anything about anybody else. But if you could just read the tea, that's what it is. That's what it is. Let's see. Hey, how you doing, Juanita? Thank you for the birthday wishes. Thanks, Cheryl Lynn. How you doing? Thank you. Political Lil, how are you? Gracie says she want the well-off shoe. All right then, Gracie. We got to send us a picture if you get it. It said, I bought the orange hoodie also to support Bucky and Shedeur. All right. So we like-minded. Send me a picture. You can email it to me. Take a picture if you want to hide your face. Put on a mask. That's fine. You can get you a Pooh Shiesty mask if you want. I think that's how I want to wear mine. Because we coming in serious with support for Shedeur. And we might as well support Bucky because Shedeur is locked in. He don't have time to get back to his merch because they would hold that against him anyway. But when you damned if you do and you damned if you don't, Shedeur, drop that merch. But for now, we support Bucky. So MSD got their jersey. I ordered mine. I'm happy I got the orange. I really was like, do I want the orange or red? I was like, if you go to another team, it might be red. I was like, forget it. Orange is my favorite color. I'm rocking with the orange. And it has 144 on the front, and the rejected will be respected on the back. So y'all show Bucky some love. Gaslighting 101. Yep, that's what they doing to him. And I want to tell y'all something. I didn't get all excited about Shedeur being mic'd up yesterday because I remember what Malcolm X said. They will give us trinkets and this and that and the other, but they will not give us justice. They will give that young man a microphone and be mic'd up, and we can all talk about it like it's a good thing. And he did not get one more rep that he had. So what does that tell you? It's all for show. And it's appearing. It seems to me. Andrew Berry running down there being interested in Shedeur, all of that time was all for show. Haslam basically coming out and saying, we took a big swing and missed with Deshaun Watson, throwing Deshaun under the bus. The day after the Jacksonville Jaguars approached Berry about the trade for the number 2 pick, and Berry was open to it. So they all, Haslam, Berry, Stefanski, ran down to CU Pro Day, claiming to be making a decision on Shedeur. And when they went to dinner, they was making a decision on getting Shedeur and Travis. But they had already decided it would be good to trade the pick. And they just finalized the deal 2 weeks later. But they still ran down to see you. And they even brought Travis to dinner to sweeten the deal. They was just wasting his time. They weren't never going to get him. And they weren't never going to get Shedeur. The track record with Cleveland with black quarterbacks, especially first round draft pick quarterbacks that are black that they have never had, they don't want to win with Shedeur. And it seems not because he's not good. They're lying to us and telling us he's not good, but they didn't bring him into this world. We've been following Shedeur. We know he's good. They all projected he was a first round pick and then locked him out of the first round. So Cleveland ain't convincing nobody that they don't want Shedeur because he's not good. But what it appears is they don't want to win with Shedeur because he's black. Standing on it. Argue with your mama, or we can argue about it in court. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. Hey, Miss Pamela. Yep, they gaslighting him. Yep, they're gaslighting him. Hey, Simply Sarah, how you doing? Andrew is a good boy. There you go, Miss Anyway. There you go. Well said. Well said. And he thinks we would never know. So he's okay with wasting Shedeur's time. He's okay with dealing Shedeur away at the owners' meeting. He's okay with the owner throwing Deshaun Watson under the bus to block Shedeur, to pivot from Shedeur. He's okay with running down to see you pretending to be interested in Shedeur and Travis, going to dinner with Shedeur and Travis, acting like they interested in both, but they had dealt away the damn pick, so they wasn't getting neither one of them. He's okay with being that guy. He must feel accepted to be useful that way. They are definitely keeping him. Sure, they are getting rid of Dylan Gabriel. There was a reason Shedeur didn't get reps today. Shedeur didn't get reps today, and his shoulder was out. I will say this. I did see him practice. I do have some footage. Let's check it out. So he did practice, but shoulder, they both were concerned about shoulder soreness. The Browns and Shedeur apparently were concerned about shoulder soreness. So he was out for the rest of the day. There was one play that people were calling out Harold Fanning Jr. because he act like he don't have hands today. And again, it's just a reminder, Shedeur need to get the hell out of Cleveland. So now they want to get the owner. They want to get the players. They want to get the players on the take. So they want somebody else to be in trouble with them. Oh, it's not just us. No, it's not. I would not sign up for that foolishness. In fact, what I would do, again, I would wear a wire. That's what I would do. I would get one of them little pins that I told y'all somebody already have that has a camera on it, that has audio, and I would put it on, and I would capture the information that they want me to use to betray my own teammate. I would do it. It needs to be done. If you need a pen, let me know. I'll drop one off for you. It needs to be done. So, we're going to watch this right fast and see what it looked like for today, because there wasn't a lot today due to the shoulder soreness. But, I don't believe in coincidences. I've been talking about something going on behind the scenes. I already said that Dallas is the only one that could do it. I've been asking, have Michael Parsons signed his contract? And the answer is no. So let's see. This is the compilation. Thank you, Jerry. This is the compilation for Shedeur balling out today for the little time he did play. So running over to the side, it looks completed to me. Number 35. So it looks like he's with the second or third team. Number 39. Number 38. The coverage was too good for 38 to get it that time. So he didn't get it that time. That's the tight end. Look like 82. If so, that's my birthday. Yay! Tight end. Okay. Who is that? He looks little. Who is that? Oh, 35. Okay. Shedeur. 34. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the third, fourth, second, third, or I'm gonna go with probably the third or fourth team, meaning camp bodies, because all these people not gonna make the roster. Yeah.
Struggling to lose weight.
So,
This is why I switched to compounded GLP-1.
Hold on 1 second. I forgot that was. All right. So as you can see, he balled out for a little bit today. But again, shoulder soreness was reported. I saw him on the side. When the player's not playing, they kind of on their knees with the helmet off. So he was over there to the side. Again, I did not get excited about the mic'd up because nothing has changed for him. He didn't get any more reps. They said you had to earn it. You heard him say it. He earned it. They still didn't give it to him. So why is he out here knocking himself out? Right. So if he ended up with a hurt shoulder, then, it makes sense for him to come out. Nothing he does, makes the situation get any better. They're willing to give him mere pacification and trinkets, like Malcolm X said, but no real opportunity for change. I mean, that's what that is. He should have had more reps by now before today. He should have been working out with the first team today. Was he even working out with the first team defense today? Probably not. They just went back to the old standard. They have no intentions for him. They have no strategy for him. They have no use for him in their minds. They want to keep lying and he's saying he's good. He's not good. Then when he shows to be good, they're now saying he can't read the plays. That's to further devalue him and justify why he's behind Dylan. Dylan is god awful. 3 of 14. That was 31% or 23% accuracy. Shedeur was 70%. If you don't want Shedeur, Cleveland Browns, why haven't you traded him? Why is the phone not jumping to get somebody who everybody knows is good? Screw what was said in the draft. You see what's going on in practice. Why the phone not jumping? For the same reason he was in a free fall for the draft. If he was taken off the board by the owners, then the owners are the reason nobody's getting him. Maybe they have already decided what the next step is. Maybe it's the Dallas Cowboys. I can see it. Let's not forget there's a relationship there. Let's not forget Coach Prime just endured fighting for his life against bladder cancer and said what? Y'all need to stop talking about people and judging them. Y'all don't know what they're going through. If I was Jerry Jones, I'd feel this big after knowing Coach Prime was fighting off bladder cancer. He had a relationship with not just Coach Prime, Shedeur too. Oh, we're going to have to do a lot of trading. Well, let's see if Michael Parsons signed his contract. Gretchen, who is that? Gwendolyn. Okay, we got a new member. Yay. All right, fam. Y'all, what she said, squad. Y'all welcome Gwendolyn to the squad. Welcome. Thank you for the support. Thank you for joining us. We go live every Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There are 273 of us. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you're new. All right, so we're going back through the comments. Let's see. Meter 127 and rising. Thank you, Salafi. CJ, this is the week. This is week 1 of practice, y'all. Let's wait for the preseason game for a full speed stats. We already saw his stats. Shedeur is consistent. Shedeur was consistent in OTA session 1, 2, 3. Shedeur was consistent in college. Shedeur was consistent in mandatory camp. He was damn good week 1 of training. Now we're in week 2. What else do you need to see? If he have an O-line, he going to be consistent in an NFL game. If they wanted him to be the starter, he would have consistent opportunity against the fastest defense, the fastest receivers. He doesn't have that. So I don't know what you're waiting on. You must be waiting on a miracle and that Cleveland is going to do the right thing. No, that's not going to happen. Because yesterday would have been that day and they didn't give him one more rep and no first team reps with the offense. Why won't they let him ball out against the first team offense? Because it's going to be harder to fight external pressure when they see he can ball out with the Jerry Judys and the rest of the receivers that they have. They went and got an O-lineman off of waivers to replace a very important left tackle. They don't care about their O-line. He don't even need to be there because he gonna get hurt. I don't know what you waiting on, but I mean, you got to look at the bigger picture here. You can't just look at Cleveland. If Shedeur goes to another team, it's not anything that just happened at the last minute. It's planned because they don't have plans for him in Cleveland. Yes, he's going to ball out in the preseason game if he plays. That's already been said. What DTR, who was a 5th round pick, see how they want to trade him for a 5th round pick. They want to compare him to their 5th round pick who balled out in the regular season. I think it was 2023. But he lost against Baltimore. Why was your 5th round pick playing against Baltimore? Why didn't you let Deshaun Watson, your $230 million option, play against Baltimore? Because you wanted to make DTR look like Deshaun Kaiser. Oh, none of these guys are good. But you don't let Deshaun Watson play consistently. But then when he get out there, he get hurt. A lot of their players get hurt. They left tackle is now hurt. They had to get another guy. Say they got a new training staff. Shedeur is not a good fit in Cleveland. Not just because they don't want him there, because of the way they conduct business. The same reason the NFL is being sued. So there's nothing to wait on. Shedeur is proven, just like he was when he got here. Welcome to the chat. All right. So everybody's welcoming Miss Gwendolyn to the family. Thank you for joining us. Let's hope the Browns, they already that. They already that. I told y'all, they're not gonna have a choice in the trade. They're not gonna have a choice in the trade. Yes, they're putting it out there. I don't know why. I don't know why, because the owners are incestuously close. They make the decisions where these quarterbacks go. They are integral in what where they go and what they get paid. That's how you know it's not Andrew Berry. Andrew Berry is just the person that you see, which shields the owner from any liability, but not in this case. Because the owners told us it wasn't his pick. Boomer Esiason told us the owners took him off the board. So there's no shielding of the NFL owners in the case of what took place with Shedeur, which was abhorrent in the draft. And now it's abhorrent in Cleveland. Collusion in the draft. Collusion in Cleveland. If he doesn't go anywhere, it's because can't nobody get him. Not even Jerry Jones. Stay tuned. All right. So that was really all of the comments. There were a lot of us out here today, but I guess a lot of people hung back in the background and didn't say much. 243 of us. Awesome. Again, Shedeur was good per usual. I don't need to see anything else. I don't need to see anything else. He was good coming through the door, and they wanted to hold him back. Cleveland is doing the same thing. They held him back in the draft and devalued him. Cleveland is holding him back and devaluing him. They used Dylan Gabriel in college to block him from the Heisman stage, and they using Dylan Gabriel in Cleveland to block Shedeur on the roster. I don't need to see nothing else. I just need to know, where is he going to get traded, and is it going to be the Dallas Cowboys? That's the only owner that can make it happen. The rest of them don't seem like they have a choice. One of the media personalities in Cleveland tweeted after Dylan Gabriel throws another incompletion, a fan yells, "Put it Shedeur." Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for the first preseason game in Carolina. See, it's not in Cleveland. They played Carolina in Carolina. Somebody said in the comments, they going to the game. I'm like, send me a picture. Send me a picture. I'll be watching it. I get to see everything from above, I guess. So it's going to be interesting because this is not their home turf. Again, love their fans seem to be very nice people, but they just don't seem to have the big picture view of what's going on in the league. And even though what has been happening in Cleveland, you know, not being black QB friendly, I mean, Deshaun Kaiser going 0-15 should have told you that. Paying $230 million for Deshaun Watson to come there, but then you make him rotate with PJ Washington and DTR. Making DTR start against the Lamar Jackson as a 5th round pick because he was injured after college, so he was a 5th round pick. It's criminal. You had Deshaun Watson. Why would you put DTR out there? Of course, they lost. And then when they played Baltimore again, They put in Deshaun and they won. See, that they're not even utilizing Deshaun properly. That's why he kept showing up, and now he can't even come outside. Cleveland seems to have an issue with black, elite, starting quarterbacks. Seemingly, they don't want them to carry the team to victory. They don't want to win with Shedeur. I don't believe they ever wanted to win with Deshaun Watson or Jameis Winston or DTR or PJ Walker or Deshaun Kaiser. They put them all in impossible situations. Every last one of them. So they intentionally couldn't get to the front. So what they're doing to Shedeur is not new. This is what they do to black quarterbacks. That's why they want part-time Flacco and Pickett, who's Kenny Pickett. They would rather have mediocrity and risk losing than a guaranteed risk in Shedeur Sanders and winning because he's black. Shedeur Sanders is in an abusive relationship with the Cleveland Browns, and he's not the first quarterback to be it, but he is the current one. Likes are free, and you can bless what she said with more of them. Yes, thank you. It said, I missed the live. I will rewatch. Okay, Peter, thank you. We're going to get out of here, y'all, because we're going to be back tonight. We'll be back at 10:35. So y'all know it's going down. I have some thoughts on Colorado. I just want to say, and I don't know if I should make this specific to the defense, but for sure, the defense, I just want to say, it seems like Colorado's defense is in its FAFO era. And I want to say regarding the quarterback competition, because it's a real competition, because it's not just a two-way competition no more. Ponder has put his foot in the door, and he balled out just on one play. And this young man understands that closed mouths don't get fed. So he's making himself seen. He's making himself heard. He's including himself in a conversation. And now, after yesterday's play, he can't be denied. So we're going to talk about the Colorado Buffs when we get back. We likely going to be talking about Shedeur because we're going to always keep talking about Shedeur till he get the hell out of Cleveland. I'm so ready to start on following the Cleveland people, not the nice ones, but the ones that that pop up in my feed that I have to keep blocking because I get my information from Daniel Oyefuse. If it don't come from Daniel Oyefuse, who works for ESPN and Cleveland, bless his heart, I hope he gets a better beat. He was the one that actually posted today. I was headed to his page to see what he thought about the trade. And when I got to his page, he had already reposted. He reports on the Cleveland Browns. He already reposted that Michael Parsons was not wearing his number 11 jersey today. I said, well, damn, you gave me what I was looking for, and I didn't have to ask a question on the same day that Shedeur is out with shoulder soreness. And they already seem to be trying to make a trade before the season starts. And I just told you, they're not a black NFL quarterback friendly team. So we shall see. All right, y'all, we're going to get out of here at 10:35. Turn your notifications on. If you were hanging out with us in the background, feel free to join us at 10:35. This conversation continues, talking about the Buffs and whatever else emerges. All right, I'll see y'all later. Go and enjoy the rest of my birthday. I have some birthday cake to get into. So I'll see y'all tonight, 10:35 Eastern Standard Time, PM, on What She Said Sports. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.